Robinson Show.
Yo,
What's up, B
what up?
Dolan?
Yes, man.
How you doing, dude?
I'm chilling. How are you?
Good, good. You are a rapper and freedom fighter from Providence, Rhode Island?
That's what they tell me.
Are you still in Providence?
Yeah, I'm in Cranston, Rhode Island right now, which is where my studio is. I just got here for the evening, for the
Oh,
night session.
cool. What do you
And
got planned?
yeah, it's 9 o'clock. What do you say?
Oh, I didn't know if you had something else planned for after this, like recording
Yeah,
or.
not yeah, I mean, not recording. We're in here actually bouncing some stuff. I've been working since August on an album with Sage Francis. We're gonna make an album together, at least an album, if not more. We got like 30 songs going on right now in various stages. But it's for a project called Epic Beard Men, and we're gonna be. I mean, since August, I've been pretty much in the studio night after night, recording instruments, beats, vocals, all that stuff. Got a lot of new stuff coming down the pipe.
That's what I was going to ask. Who makes your beats? Do you do them yourself?
I make some, and then we work with a whole bunch of different producers from all over the place. And sometimes people just send us beats that are great, and we, keep them for years. We have like a few cats that we go back to, like Alias and Reanimator, that we've worked with through the years. And yeah, I produced a whole bunch on this album as well.
Because we were
So,
listening earlier to a couple tracks. Me and Pete here, we were listening before the show, and some of them got a really cool like jazz sound to them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a really, really cool beats you got.
yeah, thank you, man.
No problem. The rap's cool too. It kind of reminded me of Pete said who did you say?
Was
KRS One.
KRS-One a little
It
bit.
kind of reminds me a little like
Kinda
Zach
come
De
to
La
mind.
Roca too, or
Yeah.
something. Like it's cool, man. It's smart. It's cool stuff.
That's what's up, man. Thank you.
No
Those
problem.
are good names to be mentioned next to.
How long have you been doing it
Take it.
for?
Man, I've been rhyming since I was like 12. I've been performing since like 99. I've been on the road. Last time I had a day job was 2005, and I've been touring since then.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been
That's
out here for a
cool.
minute
Nice,
doing
dude.
this independent hip hop thing
That's cool.
all around
man.
the world.
That's cool, and you did it all on your own.
Yeah,
Well-
with this dude Sage Francis, who
Yeah.
runs my record label, which is Strange Famous. He really put me onto the game. There's a whole and before him there were cats like Atmosphere and Aesop Rock and LP, who's now with Run the Jewels. There's a circuit here and a path and a genre that I kind of weirdly stumbled into, and people started to like the music I was making. I never thought I'd be able to make and say exactly what I wanted to say and not be beholden to anybody and be able to sell records and live off that.
Yeah, because we
So
have
when
a
I
friend.
kind of came,
We have a friend.
What's that?
We have a friend. His name is Sauce, aka Matisse, and that's how he feels about himself. Like he is just. He said, he's not mainstream, and he just raps about whatever he wants, and that's the way he feels. Like he'll never be able to get anywhere with it.
yeah, I mean, and I was cool with that. I was like, I'm not making pop music, so I'm not expecting pop results,
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm gonna make my shit. Can I curse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make my shit for myself, and yeah, it was when Sage Francis heard it, he was the dude that kind of introduced me to the scene and was like, nah, there's an audience for this. There's people that want to hear stuff like this. And through that is how, I've been lucky enough to, and worked hard enough to live off this.
Nice. That's cool, man. Who are some of your biggest influences rapping?
Well, the rapper that made me want to rap was Scarface. When I was a kid, I heard that and just heard like the stories and as a young person, I mean, I didn't grow up in the city. I'm a white dude. I grew up in like a mill town in New England, on the outskirts of Providence, or what was left of a mill town after the mills were closed. And so I grew up in like a working class setting, and we had money trouble, we had family trouble, we had a lot of pressure on us, and I felt that pressure as a kid. And when I heard rap music, it was the first time I heard like the rage I felt expressed. And weirdly enough, obviously it's not the same situation to be white working class New England versus, the rappers I was listening to, which was like Wu-Tang and Nas and Biggie. And,
Yeah.
but there was something there, and there was a realness, like they were really speaking, and they were talking about things that mattered. in a real way, I guess, and that's what pulled me in. And yeah, and everybody, I was a student of rap. I feel like hip hop raised me after that.
I feel like it died though, like mainstream. Like it's not what it used to be, man.
I feel like there's a lot of incredible mainstream rap, right? I mean, I say mainstream. I consider Kendrick Lamar mainstream. Like,
I do.
He's on tracks with Beyonce and Kanye.
Yeah, I like him, but I feel like I don't know. Like I just feel like he's the best of the worst. I don't know. I feel like he just misses it for me. Like he's got some great stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big tree at this point, man. It's like at a certain point, it's like, who is the better jazz musician, Louis Armstrong or Miles Davis? Like, to compare them is like you're comparing very different, but technically that's all jazz, and hip hop is so vast at this point that I'm just about like judging people on the basis of what they set out to do. So I don't expect Kanye West to rap like Chuck D, and I don't expect Chuck D to rap like Pharoah Monch, and hip hop is big, and hip hop is doing a lot of different things for a lot of different people in a lot of different places. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm happy to see the culture advancing. I'm feeling pretty good about hip hop myself. I know other people have different opinions.
Yeah,
I'm still inspired.
Cool, man. That's cool. But what's the craziest thing you've ever seen performing?
Craziest thing I've ever seen performing? I'm like on stage,
either on stage or in a crowd, like maybe a fight or something like that.
But man, I don't know that this is the craziest, but like last time we played Vancouver, I had this mask on that I would come out in, and then I would like take it off and reveal, and then start rapping. And this girl in the front row rushed the stage and immediately tried to steal my mask and like jump back into the crowd. And someone stopped her, and I needed the mask. So I was trying to and I'm still rapping the song. I'm trying not to break that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to direct her movements. And she was so tiny and kind of fast that the only thing I could do, my hand ended up very near her neck to stabilize her. And then I saw my hand do that and was like, oh God, no, you can't, that's a horrible visual.
Yeah.
You look like your hand is around her neck in front of a packed crowd of Vancouver. So I had to wrestle a mask away without being it was like Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that came immediately to mind, but it gets interesting out there.
Yeah. I figured it did on the road.
What up, Vancouver?
Where do you perform mostly?
All over, man. We tend to split my year about half between being on the road. I'd say mostly in the U.S., Canada, and Europe, and the other half of the time just staying at home and working in the lab. That's why right now I'm in a period where I haven't really toured since last October, and I'm going out in April to tour the whole U.S. But for the time being, I'm here in the studio.
Nice. What's one of your favorite places to perform?
I got favorite places everywhere. Where are you guys located?
We're Jersey.
You're in Jersey?
Yeah.
Stanford? Stanford, is that a place?
Yeah.
Stafford?
There's Stafford and there's Stanford.
I was going to say, I think there is a Stanford.
Yeah, there's both.
Yeah, there's like a legendary blues joint there where we perform sometimes. I think in one of those. But yeah, Jersey is a good place to perform. I'm gonna say Jersey.
Thank you. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And do you perform with other rappers, or is it just the show is just you?
This it's a different setup every time depending on what other artists are on the tour. This time in April, I'm going out. We're starting on the West Coast in Seattle and Portland. I'm touring with DJ Abilities from the Rhymesayers label, formerly of Idea and Abilities, legendary indie rap act. So DJ Abilities will be on that tour along with Cast One versus Figure, which is a new act. That's an MC DJ combo. And then we're bringing this dude, Dope Knife, who's also recently signed to Strange Famous, our label. So that situation will be 2 DJs and 3 MCs doing like a collaborative set throughout the night. I've done other tours with live bands. There was one tour where we had like 27 people on the road. We had a 19-piece marching band. We had like drag queens, burlesque acts.
That's awesome.
yeah. So I actually like try and bring a different tour package every time, or at least like change it up year to year and album to album, so people get a different show and a new reason to come back, kind of.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's cool to see something like that. It's just something different, like you're not going to see anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. We're pretty much all of April to May. We start on the West Coast and come east. So we're kind of going everywhere in the U.S. The dates are up at bdolan.net, and we're still adding a few. Yeah, man.
How do you come up with the idea? Like, how do you, like, do you guys just sit there and brainstorm, like, what you're going to add into the live show, or?
It occasionally, I mean, in this case, it's a question of it, like, that's three or four different acts that all have new projects out at the same time. So it makes sense, like, let's tour together, and while we're touring together, let's build some stuff together and rehearse some things and make it so it's not just, you know, the typical concert where, you know, it's like opener, headliner, you know. Everybody's good enough on this particular tour where it's like, well, we could do opener, headliner, then the opener could come back, and then the headliner and the opener could, you know. So we're doing some stuff like that. And other tours, it's I work with this dude DS3K who's here, who engineers my albums. And on the last record, Kill the Wolf, we wanted to bring a live band. So we like really engineered that set here, and then found the players. It was a real crazy set that involved triggered samples plus live instruments, really elaborate stuff that we spent months working on before we brought it out on the road.
That's cool. What how many albums do you have out?
I've got 3 official albums, 3 mixtapes, and a live album. I think, and then little guest appearances and limited edition stuff has come out through the years. But yeah, I think three official and 3 unofficial in the live joint.
Do you make more off of touring or off the album sales?
Touring, really. Like, you know, I mean, weirdly, my career, you know, my first album came out in 2008, and so my career has weirdly, just timing-wise, like, coincided with total chaos and flux in the music industry. So, you know, my first 12-inch single was like, came out right around the time the 12-inch singles were disappearing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're a thing. They're gone right now, right? Yeah, that's
yeah. So I've kind of weirdly like straddled like about eight or more years of like, all right, now it's CDs, but right now, crazily vinyl. Like vinyl is selling as fast as I can stock it.
Wow. I was gonna say too. Do you still sell CDs on the road? Because like I know a lot of guys don't, but I've heard some guys say, you know, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, CDs are This past year, I feel like, is the first year I really saw CDs like taking a nosedive.
Yeah.
But vinyl, like 30, which is cool because I like vinyl and I collect vinyl. The fact that we gotta carry this vinyl now all around the world.
Yeah, that's good.
But those are good problems to have. Like just literally trying to figure out how we can transport this heavy ass vinyl and not show up in your city and have you be like, no vinyl, bro? What's the deal, bro?
I've been waiting for this. I wanted my vinyl.
Yeah, where's the love? Like, I had to smuggle this shit through customs, man, in a roller bag.
That's real?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man. What, B Dolan, I wanted to ask you, your nomore.org, did you get the funding for that? Because I saw you were, well, first of all, I just want to say you said it was the largest corporate crime database on the internet, correct?
Yeah, and we created that in 2005.
How did you get into that? Doing the rap thing, like, is that something else you also had interest in?
Yeah, I mean, I was living in New York on September 11th, and at the time I was politically active. Like I had been going to protests in the city. The first protest I ever went to, I was like 18 or 19, and it was to protest the Amadou Diallo shooting.
Yeah,
where the NYPD shot an unarmed guy 41 times. So I have been protesting, and obviously I've been listening to political rap and Public Enemy and all these like MCs had really caused me to go educate myself, and I had like read a lot, and I was politically aware. And I remember the election of Bush. I remember the 9/11 happening and us kind of going crazy and just being like, wow, the whole world is at war, and this is happening right now. We are at ground zero. And that day really, I think that day like radicalized me in terms of my activism, in terms of like me saying is not going to be enough for me to just contribute songs to the movement. I need to actually make sure I'm doing real work that is benefiting people. And, it's not enough to just gamble on your art, because if Chuck D can't write the song that starts the revolution, or John Lennon or Bob Dylan can't write that song, what are the chances you're going to write that song? So I was working for the Democratic campaign to elect John Kerry in 2004, and because it was the emergency of like anybody but Bush, we've got to get Bush out, and it was this same shit, man. It was the same. Like, oh, well, that's too evil. It's all like the same argument that we're still having. And and in the aftermath of that and thinking about it and, the reality of 4 years of George Bush, we realized like, well, we're still voting in other ways every day. We're still voting with the purchases that we make. We're telling companies that whatever you did to get this product to this price, I approve, and here's like my dollar of, here's my vote. And so I was thinking about that and realizing that there was no website to make that information easily available to people, to make it immediately clear what, say, your Poland Spring water bottle, where that came from. That came from Nestle. And who is Nestle? Well, Nestle is this record around the world of human rights abuses and the sale of breast milk formula in the third world, where they were doctors, pushing doctors to give breast milk formula to women so that their breasts would stop producing milk, and they'd need to keep buying Nestle. And then they'd go back to their villages and they'd water it down with dirty water and try and stretch it.
Man.
Wow.
And so, Nestle is attached and was boycotted for years over this malnutrition in parts of Africa and the developing world.
Wow.
And so, like things like that, or Nestle is attached to mining people's private water supplies and bottling that water and reselling it.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I have heard that one, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When there's plenty of springs in this country that they could just like you gotta wonder if there's some kind of like sinister like plot behind it all.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, water privatization is a major trend, and we've been talking about it since 2005, and that, all these things have we've talked about them and watched them come home to roost. We talked about predatory banking 3 years before the 2008 financial crisis. We talked about corporate money in politics 10 years before the Bernie Sanders campaign and Citizens United and all that stuff. And water privatization before Flint, Michigan, and before the Dakota Access Pipeline, and all these conversations we're having now, they do come back to corporations. And we have these conversations in a lot of different places. We talk about the private military industrial complex. We talk about the private prison, school to prison pipeline. All that stuff goes back to a company. Like, there's a company at the end of every one of those bread trails,
Wow.
And so NoMore.org was about connecting those things and making those things clear so that we can see who our enemies are.
Cool. And did you make the funding to keep it going?
We're still short of the funding. The funding was based on overhaul of the website, getting it to mobile platforms, and employing one person for a year. And we estimated that number to be about $100,000 is what we need. We've raised close to $20,000, I think. But we set, it looks like short of some financial miracle, we're not going to hit that $100,000 number. So now I'm sort of. What has happened is we've gotten a ton of offers of tech help and people that are willing to volunteer their time, and some of whom seem really qualified. And so I think the next step is going to be for us to kind of have some kind of meeting with them and see what we can do
See if we can make it
to
happen.
preserve this site.
I love the video you have where you talk about that guy Dove. Was it Cherny?
Yeah.
Cherny that called you an
Cherny,
information terrorist because you exposed that he was like sexually harassing his female workers and all, and dude, he was, and then he
An information terrorist.
and then he called
An information terrorist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what did we do earlier? We talked about Uber, the guy that ran Uber. Like, they accused him of all these things, and then he just resigned. Nothing says you're guilty, like, just after the accusations, just resigning.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on company, and especially to all the people who are, you know, on the left and are feeling like this, like, incredible powerlessness as we watch Donald Trump, like, just fill the cabinet with billionaires who obviously, like, we know are not going to be responsive to us.
They're not. They have nothing in common with us. They just have nothing similar.
The whole system is
And yet
it
you see stuff like you see examples like Uber, where we as a people decided that company was behaving badly and produced real results incredibly quickly. And so, you know, and that's the thing, you know, corporations in the Trump administration seem to have just bypassed. The lobbyists used to write the bill and give it to a senator. Now the lobbyist has just walked into the White House and sat down and started making phone calls like they're running, you know, the asylum. And so we have to think about different ways that we can get our control back. And boycotts and divestment and all of those things are tools that activists are using and are going to be using and are still successful and are still working and producing results. So even if it's not nomore.org, we're going to, you know, return people's money if we don't hit our funding goals, and kind of send out some bulletins and some organizations and resources that we think people should check out, because there's a lot people can do on a local level to resist corporate power too. Yeah, man.
B Dolan, would you be able to?
nomore.org.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Would you be able to rap for us before we have to wrap this up?
Yeah. Let me think. Box cutter, jackknife, either or, C4. Leak through the crack in the reinforced steel door. Feel your money clip, clutch your purse. Sense of security, what's that worth? My brother got a gun safe. That's a safe he bought to keep his gun safe. She keep a can of mace till she make it to home base, cause walking in the city at night could feel strange. So she's ready for whatever, wrestles the persistence of a childhood terror. She's not a racist, but the presence of a member of a certain ethnic group produces a slight tremor. It's quite clever how the crime's done, feeling better and protected when you sign up. But when the time comes, the insurance you purchase never covers what you die of. Safety. Yeah.
Ooh.
That was cool, man. That was really cool.
Damn
Thank
right
you.
about those insurance companies.
And that's what I like about you. Like you mentioned earlier about, you know, you listen to rappers that were educated and you wanted to educate after that. That's what I think has gone away in the mainstream nowadays. Like it just seems to be gone. People don't want to know, they just want to act, or they just want to say, you know. People don't want to know or think for themselves.
For real, yeah. I mean, people are consumers deep in their souls and in their spirits, and I think that's something that, like, we gotta figure out. And that's why I still love the live shows and being in venues with our fans, because even if the music isn't political expressly, like, we're all in this room together. Like, we're not at home on the internet. And you know, like, the physicality of getting together with people and exchanging ideas and all that.
That's what it's about.
Like, I still go to live music shows for that too.
Yeah.
And the same as protest. You know, it's church without the bullshit.
Thank you so much for talking to us, dude. You're awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And where can everybody find you?
Strangefamous.com is the label that has all my back catalog. bdolan.net. We just redesigned that, and that has all the tour dates on it and all the information that you'd need or want. So yeah, and I'm on social media as B Dolan SFR, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff.
Awesome,
yeah, man.
dude. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother.
Have a good one.
Talk soon.
All right, man.
Peace.
Later.